Hey everybody, what's going on? We're here in some King Arthur Legends Rise today. We're going to talk about the Plane of Beast dungeon. We're going to talk about progression in this dungeon because it's very important to do. As you start to get more stars on your heroes, you're going to start to feel the real need for these, especially these legendary ones. So I really want to make sure that you guys can at least push up to like stage 6, where I made it here yesterday. It starts to get a little bit of... There's a little bit of difficulty around stage 4 or 5 when you're earlier in the game. I don't have an in-game team for you yet because I'm not in the in-game. I am, pushing at the rate I'm able to push, and we're not spending any money yet. We are still free to play as of recording this video. I don't know if it'll stay that way forever, but as of right now, I am free to play. So let's talk about the free-to-play method I'm using to progress in this dungeon. It's very easy as far as obtaining the champs and gear that we have for our stage 6 clears here. The game gives you every one of these champs, and you'll see when we take a look at the gear, nothing crazy is going on. So let's just jump in and take a look at a run real quick, and we'll talk a little bit about what's going on, and then we'll go take a look at the gear on everybody, and you should be able to duplicate it, right? Or at least have something to shoot for so that you can push your way up to this point and have a blueprint to work on as you move forward. So if we take a look at his health bar right now, it's gray. And he's got a number and a shield on his picture here. It will pop up again. That's the shield, right? He puts a shield on himself, and you have to hit him a certain number of times to make that shield go away so that you can continue to damage him. That's pretty much the main mechanic in this dungeon. That's the main thing you need to be aware of. Beyond that, you need to be able to do damage to kill him and have enough sustain to not get wiped out before you're able to kill him, okay? So, it's important to bring champs into this fight that can multi-hit. You see right here, right now, when he puts it up, it's 12. As you scale higher in the dungeons, I believe on stage 10, it's going to be 16 hits. So it's never crazy, but again, it's longer that you can't hurt him and he can hurt you, which can get out of hand pretty quickly if you let it. So, we've got Tristan and Kay in here, who are really the big ones who are taking care of the shield for us. I think Kay is pretty much mandatory for this dungeon, especially if you're free to play. I feel like you could justify using Kay in here regardless of how much money you're spending and regardless of who you've pulled. I don't know every legendary in the game yet, but she's got a 5-hitter on her A1, a 4-hitter on her A2, and a 4-hitter with extra damage on her A3 if the target has below 30% HP. Tristan also has a lot of multi-hits, and he gets extra hits if the enemy has protection, which would count in this instance because the shield would be considered protection. So there you see it. Fairly straightforward run. There was no AI sorting. You can click the settings up there and go to skill order settings or whatever. There's no settings adjusted in there. Everybody's just coming in here raw and knocking it out. So let's talk a little bit more about the role each champ is playing and the gear that I have on them. And again, you'll see when we take a look at the gear, there is nothing special going on with these champs. You should be well within your capability to duplicate this. So I've recently swapped Morgan to a damage build. I was trying her tanky at first because I thought it would be better if she's just tanky and really accurate and can just be around safer and longer to knock back turn meters and put up heal block and land sleeps and things like that. But I've kind of wanted to test her out in a few different ways. So we've got a damage set on her right now. Attack set and crit rate set. I do want to give a quick note about the sets too. I've played a lot of these games over the years, and a lot of the ones that I've been playing lately have leaned really heavily into their gear sets being 2-piece sets. So I've overlooked a couple of times that I have not actually completed a set when I thought I have. And even some sets, like the attack set, which is almost exclusively a 2-piece set in the genre, is a 4-piece set in this game. So it's important that when you're equipping your champs with gear, you're looking down here at how many pieces you need to complete a set. Because I've overlooked it with the speed set, I've overlooked it with the attack set, I've overlooked it with a few different sets. So be sure that you're completing the sets. And I think this game, with the way that the gear seems to work in it at this stage anyway, sets over stats might be the way to go right now. Generally, as you hit a certain point in these games, it's stats over sets. But in this game, it seems like maybe, in my experience, sets over stats, at least in the early game. So I would highly recommend that you work on completing the sets, even if the stats on them aren't what you want them to be. We've got flat defense on this ring, right? It's not ideal, but we've completed the sets. So she's getting pretty good damage. And she's working out pretty well for me as a damage champ. She's doing some turn meter knockback. She's doing some pretty decent damage. She's got a heal block. She's got a sleep. Like I said, she's bringing some pretty important stuff to all of my fights. So I'm liking her like this. But you can see it's mostly 2-star gear. We've got some 4-star boots there, but nothing fancy going on really with the gear. Tristan, I would recommend putting in a speed set. I think he really does well in a speed set. He's got quite a bit of scaling based on his speed. So if you can get his speed higher, he'll really start to shine for you. I was not super impressed with him early on, but since I got him in a speed set and got a little bit more, a few more levels in him, I'm starting to really enjoy this guy. He's really good. So I've gone speed set, crit set. Doesn't have to be a crit set as your second stat. It can be whatever. Also on the ring, if you can get attack speed as a main stat, that would be ideal, but it's not mandatory. I would not get too hung up on the stats right now. You see, we don't have very many pieces of gear still, so don't stress yourself out about what the stats are on these pieces of gear. If you can, if you sort of have it lying around and you've got a little attack speed and his subs here and there, that would be great. You know what I mean? There's no reason not to do it if you've got it, but I wouldn't like really try to emphasize it. I don't think it's going to make that big of a deal this early in the game. So I would recommend speed set on Tristan, okay? Kay, perhaps the star of the show, just an absolute monster of a rare champ. I'm just really, really appreciating in this game how usable the uncommons and rares are. I rate that so highly when a developer does that. A lot of times in these games, for the most part, uncommons and even sometimes rares are just kind of a formality. They're just there because that's the general structure of how the games work, but you pretty much need the legendaries to do stuff. That does not seem to be the case in this game, and Kay is a shining example of that for this dungeon. She has just so many hits coming out of her skills, so she really makes light work of the shield. I've gone attack set and crit set on her, and again, not really ideal. Flat attack on the ring. Nothing particularly crazy going on. I guess we got lucky with getting attack as a main stat on all these, but nothing crazy. Mostly 2- and 3-star gear, all right? And then Luke, he is a fantastic uncommon healer. If you have not pulled someone that you feel is a better option as a rare or a legendary, he is more than sufficient to help you progress in this dungeon. I've gone triple life set on him. I think you're almost certainly gonna have a triple life set at this point in the game. It is a 2 set. If you stack them, he's going to get 45% added to his HP, which is substantial. The reason that's important for him is because his heal scales on his max HP. So the higher you get it, the better his heal is, and we need that heal to matter every time he does it. If he's got low HP, he's not healing that much, and it's costing you 3 vigor every time he does it. So you really want to make sure you're getting the most of that 3 vigor every time it comes out, all right? If you've got it, it might be worth testing a healing set against it. I don't have any healing pieces right now, and I don't know if it would do more. We'll just need to do some testing as we expand the gear that we have in our account. But I would just not even concern myself with the main stats. As you can see, we've got attack on the ring, attack, defense. Like, if you can get HP as a main stat on all those, it's great. Everything you can do to get his HP higher, I would recommend doing it. That's really the priority with Luke, is just shoot that HP up for now, okay? And that's it. That's the team. Everybody's got 5 stars because we've been farming Plane of Beast as we go. So if you can get everybody to 5 stars on this team and duplicate this gear, which should not be that hard, honestly. One quick tip that I may have talked about in another video, use your forge. Use your forge. If you've unlocked equipment crafting, come over here and use the forge, all right? You just pick your set over here. So like if you need some speed pieces for Tristan, or maybe you wanted to put a speed set on Kay, whatever the case may be, just hit your speed set. You can do 3 to 4 star. I think I've probably crafted 7 or 8 pieces of gear, and every single one of them has been 4 star. So it says 3 star or 4 star. I don't know what the rates. I haven't looked at the rates yet. It says, oh, I'm not looking. It's different for every piece. I can't get into that right now. I've crafted 7 or 8 pieces of gear, and every single one of them has been a 4 star. I have not crafted a single 3 star piece of gear yet. So hopefully you'll have similar luck. But even if it's 3 star, it's better than the 2 star stuff you've got lying around. You know what I mean? So you just pick your set, you pick the piece that you want, and craft it. I don't know what the deal is with these materials up here. Really, I have not really looked at it. I think you highlight them if you want to use them. So just also quick note on the forge, these aren't going to be used every time you craft. I think you click them to highlight them, and they'll add. Yeah, increases the chance for resulting item to be higher grade and higher rarity. So I wouldn't use these yet, honestly. I would continue to let these pile up and just craft your gear using these materials. This stuff will probably be for later when you're trying to craft 5 and 6 star gear. So anyway, quick tip about the forge. Go over there and craft anything you feel like you're missing or anything you feel like would help you. And that's it. Hopefully that helps you progress through that dungeon a little bit. If you've got any tips for it, maybe you found that uncommon that's throwing out a bunch of multi-hits, or you've got some sleeper champs that no one's really talked about yet, I would be very interested to hear them, and I'm sure everybody else would appreciate it as well. Other than that, I'm getting out of here for this one. I hope it helped. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Like and subscribe, all that YouTube stuff if you did, and we'll see you in the next one, all right?